But let's do a bit of a recap. I always do a little one, but given that the last episode was messed up for people who are jumping in, and also for our two players who were absent from last week, I will be a little more detailed than I typically am with my recaps. So, Alphala spent quite a bit of time, going over the records and data that have been provided by Darius, including area maps for Foxtrot's site, putting together a tactical assessment of the site, and really doing some in-depth research into what resources were available to be provided to the players, to the company at the site, and ways that they could perhaps modify or reinforce the terrain in some manner, the terrain or the small town. Also, Alphala got in contact with the local HPG office, headquarters, however you want to the communications center, basically. And discussed some problems that they were having with their satellite uplink, and is sending over Wrym and Bob to go deal with that. Speaking of Wrym helped with some of the assessment with Alphala, taking a look at the site, determined that it would be a good idea to fix our industrial mech so that it could be utilized for fortifying defenses and modifying the terrain. So Wrym had a team building session with his mech tech crew, where that they, in one day, all working quite well together, completely repaired the industrial mech. On top of that, Wrym demonstrated that he is a capable pilot and can hop into a military spec battle mech, pilot it manually, and not crash into things.
There's only like 10 feet, but or at least in comparison of like the mech walking, but still.
Right. But 2 thumbs up on that. There was also just some getting to know the team a little bit better. We met Mel's, who is going to pretend to be the head mech tech in case anyone comes to inspect or talk to them that is not members of the crew. And then finally, Wit. We got to meet several people from Wit's backstory, as Wit both went and met with some locals to get a lay of the land based on their perspective, being local military officers, got a couple of contacts and got some information. And then Wit met with one of his contacts from, days of old when he was a smuggler, and learned some specific information about the pirates. Primarily that they have a fully customized assault mech, stalker class, that is named Careless Whisper.
As well as told the best joke of that entire session, which was sadly not heard.
No. So I decided that his contact, whose name was Samire, was going to flirt with him, and he completely rejected her in a hilarious fashion.
I think it went like, it was like, oh, hey, honey, how about you follow me to my thing? And he went, so how about we shelve this for a different time that will never show up?
It's like, how about we shelve that idea for a later time, which will never happen?
Yeah, which will never.
It was smooth. It was deadpan. We all laughed. He got a bonus XP for it. It's such a good joke.
It was
harsh.
solid.
Goodness.
Yep.
In his defense, he is married.
Like, in his tone, yeah, his character's married, and she's aware of that, the contact. But just the tone in which he said it was just chef kiss.
Because like he said it in the happiest tone imaginable. It was hilarious.
Right. So that was, and all of the characters will get a chance to talk more about these things before the session ends, so we can fill in more of the details later. But that is a somewhat more in-depth review of what happened last session with all of the players. So we're gonna kind of rewind time though. So Alphala, Wrym, and Wit are going to be taking those actions throughout the day. We're gonna rewind to the point where that Darius left the ship to go take a nap for a couple hours because he had been hyped up on caffeine and other stimulants and amphetamines to keep him going for about 36 hours straight. So he went to go take a nap. What'd you say?
Many thins. That's
Right.
an old school instead. It's an old school caffeine thing.
Gotcha. So, who would like to go first? Angel or Sparky?
Depends. Where are we hopping in from?
Do what? Sorry? Where are you up?
Where are we hopping in from? I don't remember where I left off with.
So you guys left off. Angel. So everyone finished their conversation with Darius 2 sessions ago, and Darius leaves, and then that's where we ended the session. So we're starting from there. Darius has left. Everyone sort of, puts their hands in, is like, go team, and goes to do their own things. So I've got a couple of ideas for scenes for each of you. If you don't have any ideas of your own, or if you just want to roll with what I've got, I just need to know who's going to go first.
Unless Sparks over there wants to go, I can. Or if Scotty wants to go, I can, because Angel was going to go and immediately start on getting people to help out with protecting that area that's been being attacked.
Okay. I mean, let's just roll with that. You spoke up first, so you're going first.
Okay.
What do you mean you're gonna go help get people for the area? Like,
Well, I told him that I was gonna send some people to keep guard, so to help out, because I can't remember where it was, but one of the places had been attacked constantly.
Right. So that's Foxtrot's site.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. I actually got the map. Let me put that back up now that we're wrenching it.
Yeah, you guys were sent over a bunch of information, so Angel could at least take a few moments to review like the basic topographical map, which I closed the stream again so I could pay attention to all of my notes. Ian, I'm also having some like weird connection issues. I think it's on my end. I don't think it's the stream.
You are sounding robotic, but also Wit does as well. I figured out how to mitigate it, but can't remove it from recording.
Okay.
So I just kind of let that stuff fly, because...
Let me try to reset Discord right quick, fast, and in a jiffy.
Alright. While he's doing that, Scotty is giving me power, and I'm now abusing it.
All right. We'll see if that fixes it. If not, then I just must be having some internet issues.
Good for a minute there.
Right. Okay, so you reviewed the topographical map, and you are going to go do what? Are you saying you want to get some people out there before your lance deploys?
Yeah, just for a while we can... I want to get people out there while we try to figure out what we're going to do to make the solution a little bit more permanent. It would at least buy us a little bit of time.
Okay. So you want to more or less round up some reinforcements.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, what, you want an advanced party, or do you want somebody just a placeholder, a speed bump?
I'm not thinking sending our absolute best people out there, but I do want a good team that can, that will be able to stop it.
When do you want them to go?
As soon as we can get them together and ready.
Okay, Darius has left the some resources to us. I'm pretty certain personnel is not on that list in this manner, but we'd have to wake them up and ask. You could probably do it for us.
Out of character question, don't we have our own people?
Do we
When you
have
say people, what do you mean?
infantry?
Yeah.
No, you do not have any infantry attached to your company.
Right. Okay.
We legitimately only have the people who can pilot the mechs, and as far as the other guys go, they have 3 lances of mechs and then infantry, which was undisclosed as to what amount.
Okay, send out one of the lances.
So not mechs. They have 3 lances of vehicles
Yeah,
and some infantry assets.
Wait a minute, we do?
No,
that
Darius's people do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so technically all around what the mechs, we might be quote unquote better operated. And
You guys have exactly 4 mechs and 1 VTOL.
Yeah.
So,
in that
okay.
case,
Well, hang on. Let me look at your character sheet here real quick. I can. Okay, you can roll. It's the same either way, strategy or tactics. To think about the situation, and if you succeed, I will give you a couple of ideas for options.
so I gotta roll strategy or tactics.
Yeah. So, both of them use intelligence and willpower. So you roll 3d6, and then all of your whatever your modifiers are.
Wait, how many do I roll?
You roll 3d6.
Okay.
And then your
Oh yeah.
modifiers.
Okay. Yeah. So that just lowers the difficulty. Okay. That is a horrible
All right.
roll.
So, I mean, you got 8. You forgot to add +2 because of your skill, but 8 does not pass. So you can use Edge if you want to re-roll it.
Yeah, I want to re-roll that.
All right, 3d6 +2.
Where did the +2 come from?
Because you have 2, you're level 2 in strategy or tactics.
Oh. Okay.
Happy thoughts. First time
Happy
you rode a
thoughts.
broom doesn't count. See?
All right, 13 passes. Okay, so based on your interactions with Darius, based on a cursory glance at the assets that Darius and you sort of have available at this time, you are pretty sure you're not going to be able to get anything out of Darius unless you can sweet talk him for some combat capable units. But you think to yourself, well, this is a pretty big planet. You were here before. They're used to having to deal with pirates. There might be some locals that you could get in touch with, or you could speak to someone in the local, militia command. They might be able to squeak a few guys out for you to help reinforce the town before you get there. You got options.
So I'd have to sweet talk him in order to get something, or I can do what?
You can look for some locals who you might be able to convince or hire to go out there to help defend the location.
So now that might be my better option.
Specifically because it increases our size instead of risking other people's assets.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
A company of vehicles just for this one place is not enough to strip. Send somewhere else. You at least need a company on something this huge. I mean, unknown aggressor.
Should we go ahead and fill her in what we found out about the pirates?
I mean, if you guys would like to, you can. I won't stop you from doing that now.
Timey-wimey thing, though.
Yeah. Well, if you're making a decision like this, I think it's only fair that you actually get the info of the pirates and consider this like you're thinking all day.
mean,
Well,
sure.
what she's doing though is not a repeat of what you guys did.
No, it's not. But we did something like since she's trying to recruit. I was more referring to like the fact that we found out what their quote unquote ace mech so far has been.
Well, that was the thing that you just discovered at the end of last session.
Okay.
I mean,
Also, they keep losing air assets.
Yeah, that too.
I'll take information if you got it to help make a decision or to help
There's
with
something
the
going
decision.
on. There's something going on to the east. We'll know more when we get the satellite link up, and we can use satellite visual.
Yeah. Oh wait,
Okay.
I can't even give you that information because what isn't here is the one with that information. Deck have it. I haven't even told anyone else yet.
Okay, well, for now, I'm gonna plan on trying to hire more people to help out.
Okay.
But I don't think. I imagine there's stuff that she's got to prep for before then, so she's probably not going to head out immediately to go do that.
Okay. Sparky,
Hi.
what is? Do you have something in mind for what you would like to do, or do you want me to take over with the scene that I had thought up?
You can take over.
Okay.
My-
You're what? Sorry.
I said my mind's blank. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay. So, following the meeting, you head off to do some, calculations and things. You're going over the numbers, you're going over your inventory. When you get forwarded or when you get sent a message, and it is from a Corporal Carter, and she is the logistics officer for Darius, and she had been given your information by him before he sort of retired to rest a bit. So she sends you a message that basically just says like, "Hi, hey, I'm Darius's logistics officer. We should put our heads together and kind of work to figure out what we can send over to Site Foxtrot with you guys when you deploy."
I get. Is it a text message?
Yeah, it's a tech,
A singing
Fu-
telegram.
it's a future space text message. Yes.
As long as it's not a Harry Potter screamer.
Thank God.
No.
See? Great. We do need to put our heads together. I need to go over details with. This has been a tough week.
So hang on a second. So you responded and said yes, you'd like to talk to her.
Yes.
Okay. So she sends you an address and asks that you come at your convenience.
Okay. I'll let Angel know.
Okay. Are you thinking you want Angel to come with you, or are you just letting her know where you're going?
I could say if she would like to come with me, or she has more pressing matters to deal with. I'm gonna go over to this site alone right now. But if she wants to come with me, she can.
Assistant might have Darius's ear for some more assets to send, or he might have an idea. He is a local, well, more local than us. It could help. And I'm sorry, guys. I really think there's an inside job here. Somehow.
And an inside job with who, or with what?
Well, I think someone. I'm not saying it's treason. They're finding our opposition is finding information somehow. or they have a huge, huge army out there that can't seem to ever be found. We're losing air assets. They're losing air assets. They're being nickel and dimed without being overrun. So the army that we're facing can't be that big. They have a head start. They either have a person on the inside, a bug in the system, something's going on. Their intelligence is just way too exact. I'm about ready to blame Comstar on all this.
When in doubt, blame Comstar.
I mean,
yeah.
For the few things I've been given about Comstar, that's a safe bet.
All right, so Sparky told Angel. Is Angel going to go with Sparky, or is she going to hang back on the ship?
She'll go.
Okay. All right, so the two of you get a transport. You only have the one truck, and Wit is gone at this time, so you're going to have to get a space Uber, but that's fine. I mean, really, you could just call and ask them to transport you over, and they would oblige you, so we won't worry too much about that. You guys get taken over to the armory for the militia here in the city. And you're brought into the office of Corporal Carter, and he sits you down, and he welcomes you, and he shakes your hands, greets you, and then motions for you guys to sit down at just sort of a standard looking office conference table.
Okay.
She'll shake his hand back, give a polite nod, and then go to sit.
Right. Thank you guys for responding so promptly. Wasn't expecting the commander to come out, but that's okay. You are more than welcome. Perhaps with the two of you here together, we can get a better insight into how we can best serve those people out there at Site Foxtrot. It's my understanding, based on what Darius briefed me, that you guys plan on deploying out there in the next 24 to 48 hours, and this is the first chance we're going to have to send resources to them unmolested in the better part of a week. Anytime we have tried to send transports out over the course of the last week, they get attacked and are either driven back or destroyed or captured, depending on when we send them out and what we're able to guard them with. So with you guys operating with a full mech lance, I don't see any issue sending out some, a logistics train with you guys. They need pretty much everything right now, to the best of my knowledge. She slides sort of a notebook across, or he slides a notebook across the table to you, Sparky, with just like some basic information scribbled out on it, like food, pounds of food, liters of water that they're gonna send, ammunition, that kind of stuff.
Mines, don't forget the mines.
Well, no one has requisite or has asked for mines from this guy yet, so.
Not this guy, but I asked
No.
another guy.
You did ask another guy for mines. You guys did do that, but this is not that guy.
Is this guy better than the other guy? I think the other
No,
guy-
this guy is not better than the other guy. This guy is like a bean counter through and through.
71 Lima, gotcha.
So yeah, Sparky, he slides this across to you. I want you to make for me a check. Let's see. I want you to make for me your logistics. Roll your logistics on this.
Oh, 14.
14. Okay. 14 is enough to notice something's fishy about this that you're looking at. So you look at this report, and everything that they're sending out makes sense. Between ordnance and supplies, you're looking at about 5 to 6 tons worth of cargo to be transported. They should be able to get that in either a couple of small trucks or one large, transport-focused unit. But they've got 3 trucks, like 3 large transport trucks requisitioned to transport these goods out there. Looks like they could be able to bring about 20 tons worth of stuff between these 3 trucks. So that's weird. You peg that as being weird.
Okay. Will I see that if it's being the report has been tampered with? Do I can see that from a technological standpoint, or is it just a piece of paper?
No, this is just a piece of paper.
Okay.
It's an inconsistency of some sort. I think
Yes.
is what he's referring. I mean, he's offering like 5 tons worth of worth of equipment, which for a defense, a week's long defense, that won't even last a day. I mean, how many people we got out there?
There are. It will vary depending on losses. Originally, there were about 400 people on site. You've got 5 tons of supplies between ammo, bullets, beans, and band-aids. You've got about 5 tons worth of supplies that he's sending out there.
Okay. Then
Yeah, it's not enough.
I speak up and say, well, this is not enough for how big these trucks are. I mean, you could store almost 12 times as much stuff in these trucks.
Okay. So he looks at the paper, and then he looks up at you, and he says, well, see, what we're doing is we're just being cautious. We're running 3 trucks as decoys. All the supplies are going to be loaded in 1 truck, and we're going to, if you guys get hit, then that'll increase the odds that the supplies get out there. We're not expecting them to stay out there, forever. This should be enough to get you guys through that next engagement that we figure you're going to have, and then then we'll have to reassess. But if you guys get out there and you win, then that should buy us some time and give us a chance to reopen supply lines.
How long are you expecting this to take?
How long are we expecting what to take?
Well, this isn't enough as far as like a lot of the supplies go, as you said.
The expected engagement is supposed to happen within 48 hours, I believe. That's the pattern.
Correct.
Okay.
We're not going to.
Okay. So what?
They're not expecting us to be out there, to stay out there, whether we win or lose. Whether we kill them or they escape, they're not going to keep us out there.
Okay. In that case, my brain is drawing a blank on what I was about to say. So never mind.
Me too.
You
Sorry.
could
So-
roll.
What Carter says to you guys, and then I'll let you talk, Ian. But
Yeah.
what Carter says is, we're not expecting this to be a holding action. I mean, you win or you don't, and then we come back. You come back, unless something crazy happens, and you kill this Grim Sybil guy out there, and they all go away. We just don't expect Foxtrot to be held much longer, so that's why we're only sending enough supplies for the next engagement and a short period. This is a respite.
Are you willing to lose Foxtrot.
Are you are you there? I'll follow.
Think you were there.
And
I'll follow us back on the ship going
Going
over.
on the ship, going over stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point in time, I might have actually shown up over there and helped you start researching the technical
Yeah,
aspects.
Yeah, you are.
The only suggestion I would suggest to Spood is if you're drawing a blank on something, I think it's in your best interest to start asking, can I roll a tactics roll to see if this is a smart decision or if they're being overly cautious with the resources they have?
I mean,
Yeah.
regardless, the question he asked of like, is this something you're willing to lose, is actually a good question that I would like to
And
ask.
you can ask that question. I'll let you, through the ether, like, I suddenly feel inspired to ask this question.
Yeah, I want to ask that question.
take-
Is
I'll take the XP hit on this one. Go ahead.
is Foxtrot something that you're willing to lose? What are you hoping comes from some of this?
I think that might be a little above my pay grade, ma'am. I was simply instructed to send out enough resources to cover the next few days, given that you guys repel the attack. That's a question you'll have to ask Darius. Roll perception. Both of you roll perception. So it's 2d6 plus your modifier. Or I guess minus your modifier if you're really imperceptive.
You're perceptive like Perceptor.
What's the modifier? Just the level?
Mm-hmm.
Your level, and then perception uses intelligence. So if your intelligence is high enough to give you a boost. 11. Dang.
Oh, nope.
5.
Angel, nope.
Angel is lost in thought. She doesn't notice this. But Sparky, you notice that this guy is like, when he says that last statement, he seems reluctant. Like you can tell he doesn't like this idea. Like he doesn't like the idea of leaving this side out, essentially in the cold. With 11, and you knocked it out of the park. Like, you think maybe like he's probably got like ties to somebody there, or maybe he's just got like a really good soul and doesn't like the idea of leaving innocent people to die.
Let's see, how should I word this? I have a thought in my head. Hang on. I probably would say to Angel, since I see how she's lost in thought, and say, we're going to do whatever we can to defend this location and get as many people out of there. If you want to use the trucks to evacuate Foxtrot while we distract the enemy, by all means, we'll do it.
Oh,
Go ahead.
snaps.
Sorry.
Oh, that's just because following that, I think Angel would look at him and then the guy again, be like, whether it's above your pay grade or not, as a local here, what are your opinions on it?
You're just like straight up asking. You're not. I mean, obviously you're not flirting with him, but you're not trying to apply any kind of pressure or anything. You're just asking a simple question.
Just asking a question. Want the insight of a guy that lives here.
Okay. Roll 2d6 and add gregarious to it.
Okay.
10 or higher, he believes you're being genuine, and will give you a little more information. 9.
Oh, so close.
I think. Do I want to
Add
place my
another
edge
3
on
'cause you
this?
bat your eyes at him.
Edge returns after a long rest, right?
Yeah, you get an edge back after either you intentionally purposefully rest or you sleep, and you get 1 edge point back. And that if you rest for a week, like there's nothing going on, you regenerate all your edge no matter what.
Okay, I think I've only used 1 edge point so far.
Yeah, you're the only one who's used an edge point, I believe. Also, hi Wit, I see you.
Hello.
It's like all of us were making comments in the Discord.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just use another one. This is probably not worth it, but
It
Well,
was.
all right. So you ask the question again.
as someone who's a local here, tell me what you think about whether or not, how you feel about whether or not we lose. What is it called? Foxtrot?
Yeah.
It's called
No.
Foxtrot.
It is Foxtrot? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sight Foxtrot.
What are your thoughts or feelings towards the idea of potentially losing Foxtrot?
So he looks up at you, and he looks you directly in the eye for a couple of seconds, and you see, like, you know, the gears sort of turning behind his eyes. And then he looks away, and I mean, you have seen this time and time again, where that whenever a man starts to cry, in order to hide it, they'll, you know, avert their gaze, you know, kind of wipe their face, like, you know, they had something on their nose, and make that sort of like sniffing sound. Like, you've seen this many times before. So he averts his gaze, he wipes his nose, takes a deep breath. Well, there's this girl, you see. God, it sounds kind of stupid when I say it out loud, but, you know, if you've ever had a crush on somebody, if you've ever loved somebody, you don't want to see him get hurt. Her name's Stacy. She runs one of the maintenance teams for the oil processing plant. And it's been a few weeks since we've gotten word. And I don't know if she's okay or not. I want to believe that she's okay. I get why Darius, as a commander, feels like we need to cut our losses there. I think I would disagree no matter what. But I see what his reasoning is. But I can't imagine leaving her to die. And I can't imagine leaving anyone else to die. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's been some people who have died, but there's got to be a couple hundred people left at that facility. If I can do anything to save any of them, you know, bring them home, or make sure that the site itself doesn't go down, I think I'd do it. So that's why I requisitioned a couple of extra large transports. I figured, you know, smuggle a few people home. Or maybe a lot of people. I don't know how many bodies can be crammed in there. It wouldn't be comfy, but, you know, it'd be good to save as many people as we can.
Angel smiles at him. I understand. Look, we want to protect as much as we can.
We may be
will
mercenaries, but we have good hearts.
try to keep our hearts good, at least. We're gonna try to save it. We'll do what we can. I'm not gonna make a promise that it will be saved, but I am going to promise that we are going to do what we can to try to save it.
Well, that counts for something. I've heard some of the other guys, seen texts and stuff from them, a little chatter back and forth. Your other man that's been in town, hitting up the bar, he seemed to get on pretty well with some guys there. Word's getting around, with us at least, that y'all at least seem to give a damn. That's the only reason I even thought about trying this, If there's anything else that I can help you with, never hurts to ask. I'm not sure what I can get for you. I mean, I'm quartermaster here, which means I have access to a lot, but with the current state of things, we've got gear all over the place, and Darius is more watchful than usual. Something big might be noticed, but, I'd be willing to try.
Well, I'll keep you in contact then. For at least right now, I want to try to get some more people down there to help protect the place. So, at the very least, if you can either help us find more people who are willing to try to help, or get the equipment we might need for those people, that alone will be a lot of help.
His eyes perk up when you ask about more people, and he says, "Well, I never would have thought about this before, but you guys seem trustworthy. I feel like you're genuine. Here," and he scribbles a name and some contact information on a piece of paper and slides it across the table to you guys. And the name is for it just says Gunther on it. And it's got his contact info.
Okay. Let me just get to the notes for this game so I could write that down. There we go. So, Gunther, and he's to help us recruit people?
He didn't say anything to you.
Okay, he didn't say.
He didn't say. He just gave you this information and said, I wouldn't have thought about doing this before, but because when you mentioned, we're looking for more people to help, but he didn't say who Gunther is. I mean, you could ask him questions if you want, but he did not volunteer that information.
Who's Gunther?
Gunther's he's an old buddy of ours. Me and some of the other guys. We used to serve the Hostavian military before we all settled here. Some of us stayed with the militia. Some of us went to the police. Some of us got disillusioned. Gunther probably fits in to a stereotype somewhere about people who, doomsday prep, for the end of world scenarios. If he knows anybody who'd be willing to, throw in to help defend what everyone else feels is a lost cause from some pirates, he'd be the person I'd call up.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you very much.
He's got a bad temper. If you do decide to talk to him, just don't piss him off.
I'll keep that in mind, thank you. She does smile at him, a pretty genuine smile, if not slightly amused. That, amused at the idea of potentially pissing off somebody or being warned about it.
Right.
Angel's normally on her best behavior, so I don't imagine she's particularly worried.
So he looks back and forth between, the two of you, and asks, so, that's, we kind of got away from this, quickly. Do you guys have any questions about the requisition list? I guess what my plan was, but the supplies itself. I mean, do you have any questions?
When does the cargo supposed to deliver?
I mean, we'll have the cargo ready to go. He looks down at his watch. Well, yeah, couple hours. We'll have the cargo ready to go whenever you are. We'll have crews on call. They can drive, or I mean, you could drive it yourself or your people. I don't know if you got enough people to drive these things. They're not difficult to drive, but you still gotta have spare crew.
We do have people who can drive them, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, you have several people who have drive as a skill that aren't just like your Mechwarriors and stuff.
Yeah.
Sparky can drive. Bones can drive.
That's what I thought. I figured we had someone, but I figured I'd ask before I said something, and it was completely wrong. Yeah, no, she'll just nod. We have some people that I think we can leave these in the hands of.
Okay. Well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my people prep the trucks and get them ready to go. And then they'll deliver them over to the hangar where your drop ship is located. And then whenever you roll out, you can just take the trucks with you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Let us know if you hear any intel of an early attack.
Yeah, if I get any information, I'll let you know. And if you guys need anything else, let me know. Like I said, you seem like you're a good sort. If there's something I can do to help you, I'd be willing to.
What was her name again?
What did you say? I didn't hear.
What was? Yeah, no. Angel was asking. What was her name again?
Oh, yeah. Her name's Stacy.
I'll keep an eye out for her. And at that, she gets up and reaches a hand out to shake his hand.
Yeah, he shakes your hand. He gives it a very firm shake, like, eager, like hopeful almost.
Yep, she gives also a firm handshake, but it's more along the lines of just confidence than eagerness.
Right. All right. Sparky, did you have anything else you wanted to add? I mean, he's going to shake your hand too, but...
Yep, we're going to shake his hand.
Okay. So, with that, he walks you back out to the truck that brought you guys over. During this time, have you thought of anything that you guys would like to do?
Would you like some tacos?
Sure. You go get some tacos.
I want some tacos.
Roll 2d6. Let's find out how good these tacos are.
Oh, snaps. Here we go.
Seven. They are ever so slightly above average tacos.
Above
Nice.
average tacos. So we're at whatever future version of Taco Bell is.
That could be debatable, depending.
Yeah,
on
I
who
would
you're
say
talking
taco.
to.
Like, if you'd rolled like a 5, I would have said like Taco Bell.
No. Well, I've been to some pretty bad taco places.
This is like if you go to like a local Mexican restaurant, and it's like it's just okay for one of those kinds of restaurants, better than Taco Bell, but not as good as like authentic. It's not like a taco truck. A taco truck would be like 12. You get a 12, taco truck.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. Uh,
But isn't this like Demolition Man where everything is Taco Bell?
Not quite. Not quite. But
Oh, my
I
lord.
see where you're going there, and I approve. All right. Let's do this. Let's go over to Wrym and Bob.
Here we go.
Sparky, Lexi, or Angel, be thinking about any other scenes you'd like to have. I've got one more thing for each of you, but let's change gears here for a moment. I'll give you guys a chance to think about the interactions you've just had and anything else you'd like to do. So, Wrym and Bob, you guys head over to the HPG station, control station. You've been shown in. You're on the elevator ride up to meet Junie. So you're in the elevator, and Bob is standing there. He's holding the schematics. He looks over at you. So can we go over the plan one more time? What are we doing?
Apparently there's a communication error. To be quite honest with you, you and me are going to try to go fix it because apparently the wires are all whack. You are going to be doing most of the talking, and while I go do most of the fixing so that people don't question why I'm here. If anyone asks, I'm gonna go with the excuse of I'm tiny, I'm small, and I can fit in places.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. What did you change your what does Wrym usually wear? What clothes are you wearing?
So as of now, Wrym would have switched over to a modified uniform to try to look like he's part of the tech crew.
So you're
Like,
wearing
as
just
an
like a
apprentice.
standard like technician's like jumpsuit or whatever?
Yeah, like he switched out specifically for this because even Wrym understands he needs to play a part. Like, he's not stupid. He understands basic understanding of social construct.
Okay. So yeah, so both of you are wearing then technicians, like, jumpsuit and coveralls maybe. And then Bob is carrying a space toolbox and the schematics for this thing that you guys had requested to study on the way over. Okay, this is fun. So roll 2d6 and add fast learner to it.
Add fast learner to it. Here we go. Okay. Would that be like a 3? Because that's what its number is.
Yeah, plus 3.
Okay.
2d6 plus 3.
That is an 8.
8. Slightly above average. So you looked at these blueprints, schematics. You read the repair manual on the car ride over, and so you've got a sort of a basic idea of what you're going to be doing beyond just like you have this weird uncanny knack for technology. So I'm going to need you to remember this. I won't remember this, but while you're working on this HPG grid, you add +1 to to all your stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys go, get the elevator gets to the top. Ding. Doors slide open. And Junie is standing there, waiting to greet you guys, and she holds out a hand. Says, "Hi, you two must be the techs that, what was her name? Alphala? Did she mention that we're coming over? Our experts. How are you doing?" And she shakes Bob's hand, and he says, "Yeah, I'm doing good. Name's Bob." And he points to his name tag on his jumpsuit, and he's got like this big dumb grin on his face. Pleasure to meet you. And this here is, and then he gestures for you to, name yourself whatever you want.
Oh, hi, I'm Wrym. I'm an intern helping out. They decided to take me up so I can get some credits helping out in the future when I actually get a job.
Oh, hi, Wrym. Interesting. It sounds like a periphery name or like one of the call signs that Mechwarriors use.
Yeah, my family was kind of weird. My mom wanted me to be a pilot, actually, but my dad was like, "That's too dangerous."
Right. Well, I've always kept my boots safely, firmly planted on the ground. And certainly there's plenty of dangers of being electrocuted or crushed or a number of other things when you working on in the modern industrial complex. So not to dissuade you, but this can be dangerous too.
Tell
A lot
that
of
to Dad.
As I'm sure you're gonna learn, a lot of voltage passes through the HPG grid. So you and Bob, be careful. Do you, other than to show you the way, do you need anything from me? Did you get the tech manuals? Okay. Bob says, yeah, we got those. We were reviewing them on the way over. If you have any specialized tools that you use, I mean, we brought sort of our standard kit, and he holds up his toolkit. We brought our standard toolkit, but other than that, I mean, we didn't want to bring over any specialized tools. We didn't want to take them out of the leopard. Yeah, I can do that. I'll bring you. Well, I'll bring you what we've got. Right this way, though. I'll show you the way first.
Alright, Worm's gonna wait for Bob to take lead to keep up consistency.
Yeah, so Junie leads the way, and then Bob follows her, and then you follow Bob. And she has got a security key. Like, think about it in like hospitals or anywhere you've ever seen that has like security doors that you scan a key card and you can go through. So she leads you through a couple of sets of security doors back to a server room that has a large electrical panel at one end of the room. Think of it like a giant fuse box, like in a house or something, but much larger, designed for much higher voltages, like industrial level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She says, okay, here you go. I'm gonna go get our toolkit. Both of you seem nice enough, likable enough. And she looks at both of you and roll perception, Worm.
This is gonna be great. So it was a -2 for not having it, right?
It would be a -1 for not having. This is a simple thing, so it'd be -1.
Right.
So you're rolling 2d6 -1. It's linked to intelligence. So you don't get anything for that. So yeah, 2d6 -1.
That's right. Almost there. There we go. Wow.
You notice she winks at Bob, and then she turns around and she walks away to go get the tools.
Okay, so Bob, before I start this mission, there's something in my soul that should ask, what is your next move with her? As he starts looking over the plans again to see how he's gonna enter and go through with this.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting her to like me. I mean, to be liked me enough, like to be nice and polite and stuff. But I mean, that was the wink, right? She winked at me.
Yeah, that is a standardized female wink of approval. Now, whether or not that's like you or I have zero idea, but it is approval nonetheless. I
don't get very many dates. So I don't
I got
know.
this plan. I got a plan.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna impress her.
How do we do that?
We're going to make this mission epic, and we're going to talk on comm in such a way that it looks like you're the one in charge. Let's see if some authority impresses her.
Okay. Sure. Sounds good.
Okay, well then, let's just wait for her to come back here for a second. It's a good thing I have a spare one of these things.
I was just looking. How old is Bob? Where's your age, Bobby boy?
I need to know.
Bob's age is 20.
Oh, snaps. Okay. So
So-
he's young.
So Bob, even though he's young, Bob is taking dating advice from a 14-year-old. There's no way this could go wrong.
Everything could go wrong. It's fine.
Um,
So
Videotape it and we'll put it on Battle Puppy. The social media.
I feel like Wrym is telling the rest of the group this isn't a culmination of everyone else's replies.
All right. So while you're just looking this thing over, I want you to roll for me your tech electronic.
Okay. Okay, so that's just 2d6 plus 2 because of the bonus, so that's a 6. By the truck and nabbit.
Hang on. Wouldn't tech electronic? So I don't have the full list. I've only got my cheat sheet. But the tech skills would be 3d6 because it's dex plus intelligence.
Oh, it is. Oops. Let me roll one more d6 then. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Because I did make a trick. I just need to go learn it. That's 5. So that's an 11.
Right, so that's 11 total. All right, with 11, you give this thing a once over, and you're like, okay, it's not like this is a simple problem of let's turn it off and turn it back on again. Like you can tell that someone has tried those things. You can match things up pretty easily to the schematics, so you figure that once you get in there, you've got a decent chance of figuring this thing out. But you don't spot anything obvious that could be the problem. Just by checking over sort of the blinky red lights and looking for any like physical damage to the access panel or any like blown circuits or anything like that.
Oh, fudge. I was hoping I wouldn't run into this problem.
All right, so she comes back. Junie comes walking back, and she's got like she's pushing a cart that's just got like some specialized tools on it. You know, it's a really nice set of precision screwdrivers, as well as some other tools. Let's have Bob roll 2d6.
Come on, Bob.
Right.
You're helping him, so I'm gonna give him a +1.
Yay.
Oh
Oh my god!
All right, so we've got our first crit. So the way that crits work, when you get double sixes, you get to roll another d6 and add that to the total.
Oh,
And if
yes.
it's another 6, you get to keep adding. Oh my god!
Bob needs a date after this. I don't. That's keep going.
No, that's another 5. Okay,
Oh,
so
I
you
didn't
got
notice that.
12, 18, 19, 24. Bob rolls a 20. How the hell?
Look,
Okay.
he has a girl to impress.
All right.
Okay, I have an idea.
All right, what is your idea?
Wrym secretly switches his intercom, like, because I mentioned this earlier, so that they can speak while doing maintenance, just in case he needs to go somewhere by himself. Switches from connecting to the two of them to the ship, specifically. Oh, what's her name? It's gonna take me forever to learn everyone's name. With the person who's supposed to be in command when someone not a part of the crew.
What?
The
Executive
other.
office.
Yeah. The female person a part of the tech team.
Oh, Melt.
I like the idea. Wrym messaged her and went, do a dude a solid, and switches to her on intercom to give advice.
Okay. All right. So she's walking back. Junie's walking back. And Bob is staring sort of thoughtfully, wistfully at Junie as she approaches. And Junie says, what? Is everything okay? You're just kind of looking at me. Bob says, "Listen, you seem to be interested in me, and I've always believed that the direct approach is the one that bears the most fruit. It's important that we have open, honest communication with one another. And I'm just going to lay it all out here. I think that you're attractive. I think that you're intelligent. I think that you're well-dressed and that you're good at your job. And I was wondering if you'd like to get dinner later on, either before we deploy on our mission or as soon as we get back, because I'd like to get to know you a little better." She blushes. She, kind of puts her hands behind her back and like smiles. She goes, "Yeah, that'd be really nice." She leans in. She kisses him on the cheek. And then she says, "I'll let you boys work." She slips him her contact info, and she walks out. She gives him another wink too. Like as she's walking out, she turns around. She gives him a wink.
Okay, I don't want to hear anything from you about anything about taking church again. That was epic. Okay, let's get this done.
He very clearly was not paying attention to you, and is still staring at the door where she just left. And he's like, "Huh? Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, boss."
Hey, pay attention. We're about to mess with electricity. Don't make me throw a wrench at you.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I just that was amazing.
Don't die before the date. Come on.
Right. Okay. So he pockets the information, and he opens the schematics and he looks at them. And he's like, "All right, looks like they've got all the tools that they need. I don't know why they didn't fix this on their own."
Okay. If, say, like, wire blue went into wire red and then yellow went into green, after a while, it just becomes more cumbersome than it's worth money-wise.
Sure. Are you saying that they have overcomplicated the design of this thing, boss?
I mean, from what she was talking about, it seems like they either put the wires in the wrong place, or that they added more things that weren't necessary.
All right. I assume you're gonna open it up and start working on it, right?
Yeah, Wrym will open it up and we'll start looking through this with a... He's not good with all the fancy tech smash, but he's like, if I can see the wires, I might be able to figure this out.
All right. Make your check again. Add an extra plus. Actually, let me roll for Bob to see how good of a job he does at talking you through the schematics while you work on this. 6. Average. So he'll give you an extra +1.
Okay. That's a 14.
14. Well done.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you start going through that. You open up the panel, and it's immaculate inside. Like, whoever assembled this thing and put it together, they get an A++ for cable management. Everything is labeled and zip tied off properly. You can see what's going on. Like, it's very, very clean. And so you start going through, and you spend a little bit of time with Bob, checking the connections. Red wire plugged into red slot, green wire plugged into green slot. Cable labeled 14 plugged into socket labeled 14. Like, all of that jazz. And everything checks out perfectly. Like, this should be working. So with a 14, I think you get the idea that, like, something is going on here. Like, it's not just that something is messed up, like what they were talking about. Like, something might be deliberately mislabeled or misplaced or done in such a way to cause a fault or a short.
At this realization, he kind of goes like, Bob, I'm gonna need you to stop talking for 2 seconds. I want to test something. And as he goes through the wiring one more time, Wrym is going to double check. And I think Wrym would know something about this from back in the day on his scrap planet, about looking at the wires and seeing if they were intentionally screwed or sabotaged in a method that either A, would stop it from working, or B, would only work if someone else also got the info. Since this is a communication device.
So you're going to deliberately, like, unplug everything and inspect all of the cables and all the connectors? Like, that's what you're telling me that you're going to do?
Like, Wrym's like, if everything's perfectly aligned, like, just double checking everything. It's like, is this sabotaged if everything should be working? Because otherwise, this doesn't make sense.
Okay. Roll your highest tech skill, which I think is mech tech.
Yeah.
Roll that this time instead of tech electronics.
All right, so
With
full...
with the bonuses that Bob is giving you and that you get because you read the schematics.
Yeah. That is still a 14.
Do you want to use an edge?
Yes. $18.
Much better. All right, so you go through, and it takes a while. To say that there are many cables would be an understatement. But you go through all these cables, and you get to a couple in this that when you take the connector ends off of them, you can see that the cables have been snipped from inside the connector ends, or the cable ends rather. So someone unplugged this cable, took the connector end off of it. Think about, like, you take the end off of an HDMI cable. You can cut into them or break them apart and desolder some of the wires. And then if you had the skills to meticulously reassemble the connector and then plug it back in, that is what this person has done. Whoever has came and messed with this thing.
Wrym looks at this and puts the ship kind of on call. He's not going to fix it immediately, and he goes, anyone at base? Anyone at base? Ahala?
Send your traffic.
Wait, what?
This is all follow. Send your traffic.
This is Wrym. I remember you saying something about checking to see if something was sabotage. Might have found some proof of that.
Acknowledge. Fix the issue.
Okay.
Check the service. Check the service logs.
I'll go have Bob do that now.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I think I'm gonna stay behind. Unless you need someone to pilot that extra mech for some terrain manipulation, I think I'm gonna stay behind and double check maybe some of the other things that aren't working.
Roger. Continue that task.
On it. Tell everyone else. He clicks off. He looks over to Bob. Bob, I'm gonna need you to request service logs of anyone and everyone who has ever messed with this thing, and I'm going to need you to forward that over to the ship. You are not to tell anyone why, and if they ask for a reason, it's going to be for interviews to see how this thing is working, for future notice.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that, boss.
Thank you.
There's a logbook right here. I'll compare the paper logs versus what the computer records say. See if I can find a discrepancy.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna fix it and stay here?
I have a sneaking suspicion, and someone needs to stay behind in order to catch this. If I turn this on, their best bet is either to turn it back off again, or make something else go wrong. I want to see if I can catch them in the act. I'm not going to show them off, but I want to see if I can get them.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I will go tell Junie that I'm gonna have you stay behind to assist her and have a learning experience.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Wrym's gonna real quick fix the problem, which, depending on how much length of the cord is left, he'll just cut a little lower, like both cable and wire, and reattach the ports to it, and then plug it back in.
This is a pretty simple fix. I mean, you could either just replace the entire cable with a new one, or you could splice a new head onto the cable and use the existing cable. Really basic stuff. Anybody who had any experience working in electronics would be able to do this, so I'm not going to make you roll for that.
Yeah. And then he goes, Bob, just in case, be careful. If they find out we fixed this, and not only that we know what they did, just say we fixed some faulty wiring. But you need to be careful. Something tells me if they caught when we have this idea, you could be in very big trouble without the training to fix it.
Right.
No factor. No factor. With the information that I was just told, I inform Angel and suggest ready status for our unit and the base.
So we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, you fix the problem. The uplink with Foxtrot base comes back online, and as does their local connection with the satellite grid. And HPG communication was not disrupted. You had noted that because they had ran the satellite uplink through the HPG grid, that like whoever did this specifically targeted the satellites and left the HPG grid alone. That would probably be I think you would just surmise this, or Bob would, one of the two, to help make sure it went unnoticed. Because if the HPG grid goes down, that's like a planet-wide emergency. Like, we find and fix the problem right now. If a satellite uplink doesn't work, fuck it, we'll fix it, on the next maintenance cycle. So, this was done very deliberately.
Oh no. Okay.
So, with that, Junie comes back in after a couple minutes. She's like, everything's back online. We've got connection with Foxtrot base, although so far no one has responded to communications that we've sent. They could be having local problems. They could be damaged from battle, or they could have shut it down maybe to conserve power or something. Who knows? But we've got it back working on our end. So when your team deploys, if they fix it or turn it back on, we should be able to communicate with the base again. Good job, guys. That was awesome. We spent like 2 weeks trying to figure out what the problem was, but we were so scared to poke around in there because we didn't want to take down the HPG grid.
Oh, it was so simple. Bob figured it out like immediately. It was just 2 wires were too short.
Huh. Weird. Well, sometimes simple fixes, I guess. Whatever.
I think maybe y'all were just so scared you overcomplicated it, to be honest.
I suppose. I suppose. And then Bob says, yeah, so I'm gonna leave Wrym here, if it's okay with you. This would be a good learning experience for him, and with him being so young, I don't want him to deploy to an active combat zone. So if you're okay with it, I'm gonna leave him here. Give him a chance to, learn some things. Unless you have sleeping quarters for him, he can come back to the dropship for the night and then come back over here in the morning. But I think he was pretty eager to get to check out some more technology like this. It's part of his school program. Good for him to expand his knowledge base. And she's like hardcore simping for Bob right now. So she agrees to do this, no problem.
Yeah.
She says, I'll get you a guest pass. That'll give you some unrestricted access around the building. You'll still need someone to accompany you, like to this room or to any other critical centers. But this will get you in and out the door, and into the break room, and the cafeteria, those sorts of areas.
Oh, okay.
And we can set you up with accommodations if you'd like, or if you want to go back to your ship for the night and then come back tomorrow. That's whatever you'd like.
I think I would like to stay here. Save up on gas and everything, considering everything going on.
Right. Okay. Yeah. We'll get you set up with a room over in the bunk area, the barracks, and we'll get you to change your clothes. You're pretty. It shouldn't be difficult to find clothes for you. And anything else that you need that we have available, we can provide that to you.
Oh, Worm's just like, oh, thank you. I can't wait to learn as much as I can. And to be quite honest, out of all the technical skills, electronic is his weakest. So, I mean, this is actually kind of genuine. It's like, should learn a little bit more electronic wiring.
Yeah. All right. So she says, you guys go ahead and pack up whenever you're ready to go. Bob, we'll get you taken back to your ship, and we'll have somebody show you over to your quarters for the evening. I'll give you guys a couple minutes, and then she walks out again. So in case you want to have any other private conversation with Bob before he goes back to the dropship.
All right, Bob, you helped me fix one of these things this time. I'm pretty sure you're gonna go down there, but as she says, if there's something wrong down there, I need you to go down and figure that out as fast as possible.
Yeah, I definitely picked up a couple things working on this here, and I mean, if it's just a regular, radio dish or even a short band, laser communications array, I should be able to get that done no problem. So I'm not too worried about that. As long as the dish is still standing, I can fix it.
Oh, thank God. Okay. In that case, go ahead and keep your peace, and that's how I'm gonna talk to you guys, just in case you need some advice. I'll figure out something if I need to get private.
Okay, you got it.
Go ahead and head.
He packs up his stuff and heads back.
All right. Worm gets ready with himself and is like, okay. It's been several weeks since you've had to pull on a smile. Let's do this.
Right. Okay. Angel or Sparky, do you guys have any other scenes that you would like to play out?
Not, at least for me, not any that's super urgent. I mean, you've given me the name Gunther to look into now. So, other than that.
Okay. Sparky?
I'm along for the ride.
Okay. So then I'm going to do this with you, Sparky. So you guys get back to the ship after you talked to Corporal Carter. While all of this is going down with Wrym and Bob and flirting and fixing machinery, Bones calls you over the ship's intercom. Says, Sparky, it's time for your regular checkup. If you want to head down to the med bay, I'll be waiting for you.
Okay, I'm on my way.
So if you so that the audience knows, and perhaps the other players, but Bones and you are old friends. Out of everyone in the group aboard the ship, the two of you have known each other the longest. When Bones served in the Fed Sun's military, you lived on a planet where he was stationed, and you guys met, at a bar one day and slowly built up a friendship over time. So you're old friends. It doesn't come out too often while everyone is working, but every so often you have quote unquote checkups, where that you go down to the med bay and drink whiskey together and talk, just shoot the shit. And it's been ever since the ship had to flee, you guys haven't had one of your checkups. And so it's a slow day. Everyone's just kind of waiting for things to finish tonight before you debrief. And so he figures it's a good time to check on his friend.
Open the door to mid-bay.
Yeah. Bones is sitting there with a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses. Ah, Sparky. Good to see you, friend. Come on in and have a seat. I hope you don't mind. I started while I was waiting on you to get down here.
That's okay. I would have started without you too.
You old son of a bitch.
So far, right now, the plans is to protect Foxtrot. We have basically a Romeo and Juliet situation.
A Romeo and Juliet situation. How you figure that?
Basically, there is some love, not really a love triangle, but it's kind of similar, but man, I needed whiskey more than I thought to clear my mind.
Yeah. Are you saying to me that there's like some people who love each other around here? Because, I guess I was thinking big picture. I was trying to figure out who Romeo and Juliet were and who was gonna like commit suicide and kill the other person. And
No,
I don't.
no, it's just they want to protect the person.
Gotcha. Well, are you using that to your advantage?
So far, yes, but I'm calculating the cost of everything that's going to be, and the thing is just overwhelmingly stress.
Yeah. How have you been feeling since, you were just a bean counter before, but you've pretty much been elevated to the position of XO. How you holding up?
Holding up pretty well.
Well, that's
Just need more of these checkups to calm me down a little bit.
yeah, I suppose. I thought they were gonna ask me. No offense, but until Alfella came on board, I was the one with the next most military experience.
I would have suggested you, definitely.
Well, I appreciate the confidence there, but you know me. I've never been a people person. Which I guess is weird since I'm a doctor, but
Don't worry. A lot of us are not people person.
People.
People.
You're probably the most people-y of people on the ship. You speak a lot of languages. You've been a lot of places. Tell me, how's all those investments and those business opportunities you were talking about when we last before we started this whole business? Got any growth? My investment paying off?
Here. Property investments 40k. 40k is good, right?
Yeah, 40,000 sea bills. It's good.
Yes. So everything's doing pretty good. Property, we're now up to 40k, and I'm currently getting some more trade contacts.
That's good. You got a trade contact for some whiskey? We've only got, he opens a drawer, 3 bottles left.
I could probably pull some strings of that.
Good. You always knew where to get the good stuff. I know one of the things that we always talked about was settling down. I was never into the idea of settling down. You went back and forth a time or two. What do you feel like now? You ever feel like settling down? You sound like, mentioning love and stuff, like you're, thinking about that anymore?
Settling down would be nice. But starting out this business, it's kind of hard to do that. New mercenary stuff.
Yeah. You ever thought about raising a little mercenary brat?
That would be fun.
Yeah. What do you think about that Alfala character?
Afala's a girl, right?
Yeah.
Well, she is very tough, with lack of a better terminology for it. She has a lot of walls, and she doesn't trust a lot. She has a lot of trust issues currently. Eventually, I think she'll come along and open up to us.
I haven't had a chance yet. I've got to go over her, standard exam results. Take a look at this. He slides a paper across the table to you with some test results. It's a lot of standard stuff just to check in on the health, blood tests, physical conditioning. You don't, I mean, Sparky doesn't really understand medical stuff all that much, but you understand graphs, and the graphs are really high. Like, all of her stuff is insanely, high.
Would I make 2 and 2 together, where she may have been genetically modified?
Roll 2d6. You need a 12.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So close. But no, you do not think that she has been genetically modified. With an 11, you think, damn, she must have some good genes. But you don't think genetically modified.
These are interesting. I mean, must have some really good genes there.
Yeah, all of her everything is damn near off the charts. Physical conditioning, immune system response, blood platelets, white blood cell count, muscle density, all of her preliminary reports for tests of speed and dexterity and strength. She's got to be the most perfect specimen I've ever seen.
Physical-wise. If her psyche valve is in there, she's got that, average intelligence.
Right.
And socially awkward.
Very.
but a physical specimen.
Yeah.
I take it if you shoot her in the arm, I would take it to take half as much time as anybody else would heal.
Probably. She definitely would have a pain threshold higher than anybody else on this ship. To be honest, I'm a little intimidated to talk to her about her physicality, but I am the ship's doctor, so I'm gonna have to do that sooner or later.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna have to talk to her to do her mandatory psych eval. Other than passing conversation, we haven't spoken all that much.
Well, I do know she's part of our clan, the Faction Sons.
The Faction Sons? You mean the Federated Sons?
Federated Sons.
Yeah.
Federated Sons are not a clan. They are a government. Think of the Federated Sons like the United States of America or the European Union. They're a government, a very large governmental body.
Gotcha.
They're a democratic.
Like it's the whiskey, okay?
They're like England. They're a constitutional monarch.
There you go.
But yeah.
Affiliated with us. That's the word I'm looking for.
Whiskey is getting to you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Probably I shouldn't even be showing you this confidentiality and all that, but I can trust you. We're buds.
Oh yeah.
We go back a long way. Damn near 10 years. That's an eternity when you're, career military man. Getting shot at all the time.
Raises my drink up and clinks it with him.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, all right. Listen, you ever got anything you want to talk about? My door's always open to you. The last couple of weeks have been weird. Things have been tense, but we're settling back into it. We're all working again, so just like it was before. Anytime you stop by, all right?
All right, will do. Also, I think I'm running out low on my allergy medication. You got any more?
Yeah, we can get you some of that. Hang on. He shuffles around in another drawer. pulls out a box of space Zyrtec and tosses it at you.
Thank you very much.
Be sure and requisition some. I'll put in a requisition for some extra medical supplies.
Okay.
Base quit.
I'll make sure I get some more of the good whiskey. You want Tennessee or you want someplace else?
Let's get bourbon. Let's get some bourbon next time.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So after that, all of our timelines sort of converge. Wit gets back from his conversation with Sumire. Bob comes back from them fixing the satellite uplink. Alphala finishes what she had been working on. Who's that leave? Angel comes out of her office after she's been, going through the stuff that she had gotten from Corporal Carter. Is that everybody? I missed anyone? Everyone comes together in the briefing room again, so that they can discuss all the information they've gathered.
Where will be
and
on
talk about their
comm,
deployment.
He'll go to the restroom, be on comm for the meeting.
Okay. Darius is also on his way back. He had told you guys that he was coming, so that he could talk to you about some up-to-date intel and talk about what you guys have been working on. So if you guys want to talk for a few minutes before he shows up to have private conversation, I will allow that. Or if you just want to roll Darius in right away, we can just jump in with him there too.
I do think Wrym wants to talk before he gets in and be like, okay, I don't have forever. But I did confirm with Alphala to tell you guys, and I wanted to reconfirm a couple of things with Bob in the room.
Yep, I'm here, boss.
Alright. Can everyone hear me over the intercom thing? Due to this.
You're good.
Alright. So, update on the satellite. Got that working. For any bonus points for anyone who wants to high five, Bob got himself a date in the process.
Bob looks very smug.
But before Darius gets his butt in there, everyone needs to know, Alphala, your suspicions are correct. There seems to be evidence of tampering in such a way with such skill that they have to be working indoors. Otherwise, they wouldn't have enough time to mess with the board the way they did. It's too clean.
All right, now was it just disabled, or was it also compromised? Can they hear what we're doing as well?
It was just disabled. It was
Yeah.
not compromised.
Okay,
I
we
couldn't
have
find
both
any
boys.
evidence of compromising. But to state what they did, they basically cut a wire short without cutting the cable itself or the wax protecting to give the illusion that that thing can work.
So I have visual as well.
Give me a second. Basically, I fixed that real quick, just cut it a little shorter. But because of how clean that needs to be, whoever did that has to work here. Either that, or they set up some very good stealth ops.
Okay, fair enough. I suggest we stay at ready status and maybe at a full alert status, but and we'll let Darius know.
I personally would refrain from telling him for now.
Why?
If he's okay, look, call it a gut feeling from working on my planet, but you don't go anywhere not taking risks. I find it very weird that with a bunch of space pirates, which main, financial situation relies on getting really good stuff, is fighting a person who's so conservative, you could actually argue he's preserving it to be taken.
Bob chimes in. They're gonna know that we fixed the satellite uplink Junie knows. She's gonna tell him.
She'll know that we told them that the wires were too short. We didn't tell them about the sabotage. That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't tell him about that, boss.
Bad respect.
I really think Darius should know, only because I really don't think he's the negative on this. I think he's just simply strung out, no time. There's no incentive for him to do that.
I agree with you, but I'm also a paranoid small child who survived a long time on his own. My only advice for the higher group is maybe wait a small bit before confirming to see if we can find out who first and then tell him.
And
This
if we
would
want
be-
to make sure that all our bases are covered, if someone wants to throw a few funds my way, I do happen to know someone who knows about everything there is to know on this planet, or can at least find it for him.
And who would that be?
It's better if I don't throw their identification out there too often. Let's just say they're an old friend.
Angel, ultimately, it will be your call what you tell Darius or not. You're the company commander, so unless one of them breaks ranks on something, your decision is final on whether or not you tell Darius or don't.
It won't be me.
All right, I'll have to give some time to think about it. Until then, I do have a contact that we might look into that could get us some more people to help with the cause. Help protect Foxtrot.
Hey, smooth talker Whitman. Sounds like something up your alley, to be honest.
I mean, depends. This man apparently has anger issues. As far as which way he swings, I was not told about that one. And she slight teasing smile.
Right. Okay.
So, are you saying he plays baseball?
Who's
what
on
I
first?
meant, but sure.
What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
I don't know. Great, now I need to go watch that skit again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll see what base Bob ends up on.
Bob is beat red. He's blushing so hard right now.
Like, if he keeps rolling like that, he's gonna get home base soon enough.
He's gonna hit a home run.
Get a home run.
Get a home run. She's going to take him home and keep him there.
Grand Slam.
Yeah, Grand
We'll
Slam
be
that.
down a Bob.
Or you could recruit a Junie. You don't know.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we get a commo officer.
Hell yeah. Worm's gonna be like, alright, so I don't have too much longer. I'm currently staying behind and quote unquote interning at their comms things. I have a feeling they're gonna try to sabotage a second time, or they might sabotage something completely else, and I'm gonna see if I can catch that. You guys got any other requests for me while I'm down here?
Don't die.
You say that like that's a possibility.
I second that motion.
Fair enough.
Movement passes, please wipe.
Remain careful and keep us updated.
Gotcha. Got the radio. In that case, this has been a very long bathroom break. I'm gonna head out.
And almost as if on cue, you guys get paged. Darius is requesting permission to come aboard, Commander.
That would be you, Mr. Witt.
Oh,
The commander threw me off there.
yeah.
Permission to come aboard granted.
Roger that. And then, 30, 45 seconds later, Darius climbs up the staircase at the back of the mech bay into the ready room. Says, good evening, everyone. Thanks for granting me some rest. Seems you all have been busy. I've gotten reports from several of my people that you have been both inquisitive and helpful. First things first, for your work on repairing our HPG network and our satellite uplink. And he pulls out his data pad and he taps a few buttons. And Angel, you notice that the company's funds go up by 250,000 C-bills. Good work on fixing that for us. Our techs couldn't figure it out. Sounds like your tech here, Mr. Hasegawa, was very instrumental in repairing the grid. Got quite high compliments from my own chief tech. Well done, sir. Well done. Yeah, thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Just doing my part. If y'all will excuse me, I need to head down to the mech bay. Check to make sure our Lance is ready to deploy. Captain, Commander, and then Bob goes to leave unless somebody tells him he has to stay.
Walk out.
Yeah. Then he, after Bob leaves, Darius continues to address the group. So, other than that, seems like you guys approved Carter's plan with the decoy trucks. That'll be good. Get some resupply out to our people, get some ammunition so that the forces we have out there can assist in the upcoming battle. Based on our intel reports, the attack is going to happen within the next 24 hours. Obviously, we don't know when. But there's never been a night raid, so odds are that the attack won't happen at the very least until in the morning. You guys could deploy at any time. Since you seem to be prepared to use your entire force, even for the trucks, you don't need my permission to deploy. This is more to just check in before you guys head out. Any final things that I might be able to help you with?
Tell me about your air assets that you've been losing to the east.
Yes. Seems you have gone through our records or talked to our people. I did grant you full access, so I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. You're only being thorough. Yes, we had one lance of conventional aircraft as well as a partial lance of actual aerospace fighters. Reconning out beyond satellite coverage, and this initially revealed several light lances of vehicles as well as some infantry assets. When we went in for a strike, we found a rather large mech waiting for us. Additional contact and reconnaissance seemed to show that it was a custom or modified stalker. It's almost like it's waiting for us every time we send out a recon or a strike force. Almost all of our assets are grounded because they've been lost. At present, we've got one damaged Mech Buster conventional fighter in its SRM configuration, and we have one Corsair that is undamaged, but at this point, we're afraid to send it out and get it destroyed.
I see. The Corsair pilot, what did he? What intelligence? That's the intelligence they saw coming back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
The Corsair pilot, or I'm sorry, the Mech Buster pilot was damaged. That's what he saw and told you when he came back?
Yeah, he's the only pilot that has managed to return from the trip. His wing got clipped. But he managed to fly close enough to the city that when he crash landed, we were able to recover him and his fighter. He made full recovery. Aircraft has not been so lucky yet, but we're working on it.
And that's how it normally goes. I'd like to talk to him at some point. See, one of three things so far sticks out to me in this instance. One, and this is least likely because it's a pirate band. They have air radar or air detection. Something, unless they're more permanent, they wouldn't normally have that. So I'm thinking it's probably a spotter that they have watching the airways. It's most likely. The vehicle saw them coming and they set up the ambush. Or the luck of the draw finally got lucky. Or three, it's also a little possible, you said that they seem to be knowing your every move almost.
Yeah, it's, I could believe that they were lucky once, maybe twice, but this is way too much for it to be blind luck. It is like they either have advanced warnings about our maneuvers, our actions, or intel, which I guess falls under advanced warning, but
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've been compromised. Have you been going strictly by the SOP?
For the most part, actually, yes. We didn't have the assets or the experienced command personnel to do much that wasn't by the book.
Okay.
But
That's
still,
another-
I don't know how pirates would know what our standard SOP was.
Well, some pirates they've served before. A lot of SOPs are, in general, the same. When do you push? When do you recon order? Stuff like that. A lot of times it's the same, only because it's war's an art and a science, and both of it's all been tried.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. I'd be happy to get you in touch with him. Get you his contact information so you can try to talk to him. I'm curious, when do you guys intend to deploy?
Commander?
We intend to deploy. We're gonna try to get our hands on a few more men, and as soon as we do that, we're going to head out.
I see. Well, I suggest you hurry. I don't know where you're going to get them from. Mike Garrison has got strict orders to stay here. I can't spare any of my men. So if you have outside sources, additional merc contacts, or somebody operating in the area that I'm not aware of, time is of the essence now.
Some ideas. Just
Driving.
leave it to me for now. What?
Maybe the local driving school will, just so they can drive the trucks. I mean, it's on the job training.
You get some practical
Oh.
experience in.
They'll have to sign the waiver.
Get a field trip going.
Mm-hmm. And and we might be able to get it for free. Most of the trucks might make it back.
Most of the trucks might make it back. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Ranks right up there with used to could. Give me a minute, might have could again.
I'll look into it, but for now, I have some ideas of what we could do.
Okay. So let's step out of character here for a moment so that I can explain this to you guys. The way that deployment is going to work is that and I kind of explained this last week to people who were here, but the way that the deployment is going to work is you guys are going to decide when you deploy. There's going to be a 2-hour lag time that is the travel time for you guys to reach site Foxtrot, and then you will have the option to spend some time fortifying or modifying the position in some way. There are penalties for fighting at dusk or dawn. There are severe penalties for fighting at night. So if you guys leave, for example, tonight and travel over, you will have approximately 12 to 14 in-game hours to fortify your position and fight, and it still be daylight. If you leave at first light or early the next morning so that everyone can sleep, then you'll get over there like at dusk. You could spend a couple hours fortifying and still fight in daylight. Or if you push it and wind up fighting in late in the evening, so at dusk or at night, then you'll have to deal with those penalties. So the way I'm doing that their attack is they're going to show up after you guys have arrived. Just you have to deploy by the end of the day tomorrow, so on the calendar, January 18th. Otherwise, you don't deploy and you're in contract breach for not deploying to defend the location.
Okay.
There's a part of me that likes to slightly argue, since we're out of character. Well, yes, it's important to get some military staff. There is it has been confirmed and stated several times, there is some already there, defending and going ham. And at this point, I would argue defenses are more important than manpower, considering the power advantage of the mechs versus what they have stated to have.
Yes. So they did, Angel, they did some pretty extensive recon and sort of combing through records to find out what you're likely to be fighting and what reinforcements you have. And you've got 2 light tanks on your side that are in the town. And while their attack force has got a numbers advantage, it's all very lightweight, low power stuff. Because these are like, raids as opposed to like, major attacks and holding actions. So, I mean, big guns never tire. Like, the more people you have on your side, sure, the better off you're going to be. But you have got a power advantage in terms of just the raw mech tonnage that you're bringing compared to what they have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, we need to set up defense sooner rather than later. But I still want to, at some point at least, look into getting more manpower.
I mean, totally. We can do that when we get back and we're not on a strict time limit.
Yeah.
Well, right now, what I think they're lacking is equipment, mostly. The tanks and stuff that they have there, we can build defenses with the tanks. I guess I can research Lions, the Lions building. Or that when the Californians after Third Succession War, they used battle to help build the city and helping on the planet Lions. We can use something similar, but instead of building houses, we're building fortifications, primarily earthworks. But if we have to drag our feet around in a big circle just to make the ditch a little bit bigger, we can do that. But it's at least something.
Yeah.
So
we did something similar in the army. If we really wanted a quick, hasty, we'd lock the brakes on our trailer, the EMAT trailer, and we'd drag it forward, where it would pull a lot of, dig a furrow, 2 even furrows that were parallel. Granted, they weren't at an angle, so they can interlock lanes of fire, but it was still a deep enough hasty for both the driver and the assistant driver. Something along those lines.
Yeah. And I mean, and a battle master is what, 80 tons? You know, you can 85 tons. You could dig a pretty big trench by just, dragging the feet along the ground, big enough to make it harder to cross or to give yourself a little bit of a foxhole type situation if you want to hunker some tanks down in there for indirect fire.
Mm-hmm.
Put on some music and do the twist.
Yeah. But yeah. Overall, that would be my suggestion. Like maybe after the conference room, be like final checks, final etc. And get there, because at this point, two things are up. I need to I found nothing wrong down here so far. But Bob should probably go down there with the rest of the crew, and while you guys are building fortifications, they can look to see if that place has been sabotaged in an attempt to hide. Instead of doing the main base, sabotage all the small ones right before they disappear and anyone can catch on. And that takes time.
Well, apparently you said we'll have on average 12 hours.
If you will have some time, like if you left tonight in game time and went over there, you'd have about 12 hours that you could fortify and still fight in daylight. If you wait till in the morning, you'd have less, let's say 6 to 8 hours probably to fortify. If you wait to leave till the afternoon, if you want to fight in the daytime, you've got basically no time to fortify. So
it'd be better to start now,
yeah,
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, forget the extra hands. We've got this. Because our opposition, on average, now this stalker has never been seen at Site Foxtrot, right?
No,
Yep.
The stalker, from the information you guys have gathered, the stalker has never been seen anywhere except whenever it shot down aircraft.
Okay.
So it looks like they're reserving that.
Yeah, we really don't need anything extra. We can lock down this Op 4 unit. I mean, there's 2 locusts and then 8 light vehicles.
Yeah, it's 8 hover vehicles, is what we found. So we're basically, we can send the 2, heaviest mechs, so they have a decent shot at winning.
Well, I wouldn't put it that far.
But, I'm exaggerating.
They could get swarmed. You could
yeah,
get swarmed, but
We can still get swarmed, but, I mean, we have a vedette and a striker and a platoon of infantry. It's a platoon of infantry over there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That for support. So, it's not all terrible, and they're, both of those are okay. What we're up against. The real hell can be those locusts, because they're so quick, and,
We got a quick microphone.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, given a fairly small, not based off of what they're probably expecting, if they don't know that we're here, I'm not too worried about a fight that we might get into right now, but we definitely should, since we have such time constraints, definitely need to go in and just start prepping. I say that we head out almost immediately.
so do I.
All
all right. So Darius, you guys talk about it for a moment. We'll, pretend that some of that conversation was you guys going back and forth about discussing your options. And then Darius says, so it sounds like you're getting settled on deploying it ASAP, like tonight, to get out there and fortify and prepare.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Well, I know they've got the trucks prepped and ready. You've got your own people to cover all the equipment. I guess all you need is a map, although you've got the satellite information and the topography, so I suppose you don't even need a map.
That depends on if we can keep that satellite information going.
Well, I assume you've made local copies by now. You've got your dropship. I heard that you were plugged into the grid in the dropship before you got the whole system back online.
Yeah. We have very capable people.
So it seems. I know I said this before, Angel, but I'm glad it's you here. Bulldog, he could get stuff done, but he didn't have the same, let's say, finesse that you do.
You flatter me. Okay, I appreciate the compliment. I will do what I can to make sure that this gets done. You know, within a timely manner.
Something that just jumped into my mind. Granted, I will not be able to interview the Mechbuster pilot tonight, which is fine. It's cool. But I would like the any sensor data, but maybe limited on the flight that he used.
Yeah, we'll forward you black box data.
Okay, yeah, radar and sensors and stuff like that. But yeah, I think we should head out tonight, or at least start sending people out tonight.
Well, then let's get to it.
All
We're
right.
wasting more daylight if we keep talking about it.
All right,
Yep.
good luck. Godspeed, everyone. And with that, Darius departs your ship and leaves you all to prep to go.